you mentioned, the fact that trades aren't coming. I think that's an important component here that's really been beneficial to the club is that I was adamant, 3 weeks ago that they had to do something. 2 weeks ago, when Liljegren went down, Klingberg was out, Giordano was out, it was like, man, this seems like a panic-inducing moment where maybe you have to overpay. And the front office, to their credit, did not do that. They stood pat. They obviously had deals they could have made. I'm sure they could have made the Zadorov deal. They would have had to pay more. I'm sure they could have acquired other guys throughout the league. They would have had to pay more. And what this 13-game run, where they're 9-1-3, what it's allowed them to do is breathe and probably negotiate, not necessarily from a position of strength, but a position of equality. Right now, you don't have to call and say our season's on the line. We need to do something, because your season has basically it's almost propped up since these injuries have taken place.
Yeah,
they're playing better and they're winning more since the injuries hit.
Listen, if they made the trades, it wouldn't have hurt them. Like they would have had good players, but and you know what happens? So Wall goes out. Obviously, the defensemen are hurt, but I think the moment that Wall goes out, it's coming off that Thursday game in Ottawa where it's breakaway, 2-on-1, a lot of defensive mistakes, and now your number one guy is out. And no one's going to say anything about this because there's other players in the room. Like, you have to be mindful of that. But I think there's an understanding within the group that it's like, we can't play like that anymore. Who are we kidding? And now we don't even have the guy that's going to bail us out like he has so many times this season. So, like, we better button it up defensively and play to our structure and have a little urgency away from the puck. I just think that's like an internal understanding that a lot of those guys have had, and that's growth in the league. Like, these guys have been around a long time. They've seen a lot. They should have learned a lot by now, and it's hard not to think that the guys had that awareness because the contrast from Thursday's game in Ottawa to Saturday's game at home in Nashville and what they continued into New York on the father's trip,
night and day.
Big difference.
Yeah, that's a good point. That Ottawa game, they did not play well. They had a horrible start. I thought they got better as the game went on, but they were awful in the first. And Wall was the only reason the game was close. And his injury, it may have sparked something, right? Obviously not on purpose, but subconsciously, you're probably right. It's like, guys, we gotta smarten up here.